Ministers' families are very affected by our vocations. I asked my husband to share some thoughts about the role of spouses and family in the relationship with congregations. Some of you already know Reverend Heather's family, but you don't know them in the context that they are entering. So I share his words as a way to prepare you all to accept Reverend Heather and her family in whatever way they choose to be involved. So these are his words. Families are different, so as a primary principle, the best way for the congregation to welcome a minister's family is to do so without preconceptions as to how they will want to function in the church. Ministers, like everyone else, are likely to feel a primary responsibility for their family. It's important for the congregation to acknowledge and respect that responsibility. They should avoid expecting the minister to put the church ahead of her family. Among other things, one principle is to respect the minister's day off. I did all my cooking on Monday, so that really impacted my family if I had to work. Before women were ministers, many clergy wives regarded the church as the other woman. It was easy for clergy wives to resent the way their husbands paid so much attention to the church and sought to spend time with it, care for it, and be attentive to it. The phrase "the other man" doesn't have the same kind of resonance, but some of the same dynamic applies. It's not just clergy spouses, but clergy kids as well, who can think that their role in their clergy mother or father's life is a little bit subordinate to that of the church. Some clergy families aim to be fully part of the church. Our kids felt particularly comfortable in their mother's church because everyone in the church knew who they were and automatically wanted to be sure to keep them safe and feeling cared for. They might change schools, and from time to time they might sign up for different activities, but through all these other changes, the church was a kind of permanent extended family for them. That said, there were a few parishioners who made them feel as if everything they said or did reflected well or ill on their mother or on the church at large, and they didn't like that so much. They wanted their own independent identity, too. In our family history, when Morar first got her own church, the first issue faced by the United Church women was whether to ask her husband to be honorary president. The clergy wife had always been the honorary president. They knew it could seem a little odd to have a man as honorary president of the United Church women, but they also didn't want to be inhospitable by making the assumption that he wouldn't want to take on that duty. So they asked. The answer was no thanks, but of course that meant that the minister, that's my words, the minister had to take on that task as well. Asking how members of the minister's family want to be involved is a great idea. Morar's husband was known in some circles of her church as Prince Philip. 2 steps behind and smiling.